Alright guys, you're not going to believe what this school bully dares to pull off. Something even hardened gang leaders wouldn't think of doing. He drags the student teacher into his arms, teasingly lifting a strand of her hair to his lips, then leans close to her ear and murmurs something low and obscene. The female teacher is absolutely furious, struggling to stand up, but he yanks her back down with one hand. This domineering act sends his gang into cheers and applause. Some of them even whip out their phones to film, twisting the story by claiming the teacher was the one who insisted on sitting on the bully's lap. You'd think scenes this wild only happen in South Korea. And this lawless school tyrant's parents must belong to some chaebol-level wealthy conglomerate family. The bully, Sugang, relies on that backing to rule the school with an iron grip. He constantly orders his lackeys to beat classmates who irritate him until they black out, then slaps them awake just to continue the abuse. He even invents twisted games to maximize the pleasure of bullying, like modifying rock, paper, scissors. The victim is only allowed to choose rock, while the bully slaps them every time they lose. To make it even worse, Sugang broadcasts the entire torment over the school intercom so every teacher and student can hear it. The sharp cracks of slaps and the stream of curses hang like an invisible blade over everyone's heads, forcing the whole school to live in fear of becoming the next target. Teachers are completely powerless because the entire school effectively belongs to the bully's family. But tormenting students and teachers still isn't enough for him. He extends his cruelty to parents as well. At the school gate, there's an elderly woman who sells kimbap, seaweed rice rolls. The bully decides she's an eyesore. He dumps all her kimbap onto the ground, stubs cigarette butts into the food, and forces the old woman to eat it. Her grandson rushes over, begging for mercy on her behalf. For daring to speak a little too loudly, he's beaten senseless by the gang. Then, the bully makes the boy kneel and eat all the filthy kimbap. From that day on, during lunch breaks, Sugang locks the boy in a dark room and only releases him after the cafeteria closes, tossing him spoiled kimbap afterward. If he refuses to eat, he gets beaten. If he eats, he still gets beaten. Everyone pities the boy, but no one dares to say a word. Until a student teacher arrives, and the bully's carefree reign is about to end. Her name is Simon. On the surface, she's elegant and gentle, like a white lotus, always smiling at everyone. But in reality, she's an undefeated boxing champion, victorious countless times. Not long ago, to repay her father's gambling debts, she secretly fought in underground boxing matches. As a result, she was permanently banned from professional competition. That's why she now hides her true identity and has only managed to secure a position as a student teacher. Even when facing the supervisor's lecherous stare while discussing a permanent post, she can only nod obediently, then retreat to the bathroom to release her anger alone. She doesn't want trouble at school, but what she witnesses today pushes her past her limit. The bully is tormenting the same student again, this time even more viciously. He shoves a plastic bag over the boy's head, backs up nearly 10 meters, then sprints forward and kicks him straight into the wall. One telling detail is that before acting, he deliberately covers the camera with a black cloth to avoid leaving evidence. The boy convulses in agony, while Simon clenches her fists, burning with rage, determined to step in. But another student stops her. He warns her not to interfere. "Teacher, don't get involved. His family invests in this school. His father works at the prosecutor's office, and his mother's a lawyer." Hearing this, Simon hesitates. At that moment, the bully prepares to strike again. This time, he plans to leap up and kick the boy directly in the face. The boy trembles in terror, unable to move. Zeman looks at the bully's devilish grin, then at the helpless victim. Finally, she makes her choice. As Sugang charges forward, she pretends to be on the phone and walks past him, waiting for the perfect moment. Just as he raises his leg high, she slams hard into his thigh. The bully crashes to the ground in pain, while Simon theatrically clutches herself, acting injured in front of everyone. "Oh my gosh, that hurts. What are you doing here at this hour?" She pulls the plastic bag off the boy's head. Only then does she realize the victim is Jin Hyung from her class. She puts on a stern face and orders Jin Hyung to return to class immediately. But without the bully's permission, the boy doesn't dare move. Left with no choice, Seaman physically pushes him away. The bully glares at her with murderous hatred. From that moment on, their feud officially begins. Even though her acting is flawless, Soo-gang can't tolerate even the slightest challenge. That evening, on her way home, Seaman wonders whether stepping in was right or wrong. Suddenly, she sees the bully chasing Jin Hyung's grandmother away from a roadside supermarket. After the incident earlier, shop owners fear the old woman will hurt their business, so no one lets her sell anymore. Without hesitation, Seaman buys all of the woman's kimbap, simply because she's kind. Jin Hyung watches from afar. The next morning, he seeks out teacher Seaman, the first person in the entire school who ever helped him. He begs her to help him, even if it's just enough to survive. He reveals that the bullying doesn't stop after school. Almost every day, he's dragged to a boxing gym and treated like a punching bag, beaten mercilessly. He's tried telling teachers and even reporting it to the police, but it only made things worse. Out of despair, he's been contemplating suicide for a long time. Seaman suggests transferring schools, but Jin Hyung refuses. The bully is the one in the wrong. Why should he run? He wants to see the day Soo-gang is punished. Faced with his plea, Seaman desperately wants to help, yet feels powerless. She can barely protect herself, let alone him. If even permanent teachers can't intervene, what can a student teacher do? She tries to convince herself to ignore it. But as she eats a slice of cake from school, the irony becomes unbearable. The cake celebrates the school receiving another Excellence Award for preventing school violence, sponsored by the bully's mother. Faced with such mockery, Seaman's sense of justice won't allow her to stay silent. She decides that, without jeopardizing her chance at a permanent position, she'll do everything she can to help Jin Hyung. The next day, she approaches the bully. She tries an emotional appeal, urging him to stop tormenting Jin Hyung and offering to listen if he has psychological issues. Instead, Soo-gang snaps and raises his fist to strike. Seaman realizes communication is impossible. She no longer holds back. She sends an anonymous accusation letter directly to the education office. But the moment it's sent, the school erupts like a disturbed beehive, teachers panicking everywhere. As Seaman wonders what's happening, a white Bentley roars onto campus. Students cheer. They know trouble has arrived for the teachers. The person stepping out is none other than the bully's mother. She storms into the office, loudly demanding to know who filed the accusation, even berating the supervisor and head teacher. Terrified for their livelihoods, no one dares breathe. Seeing that the woman won't leave without finding the culprit, Seaman refuses to drag others down with her. She drops to her knees and openly confesses to everything. "I'm sorry. I'm the one who sent the accusation letter." "Who do you think you are to dare do something like that? Fire her immediately." Hearing that she's about to lose her job, Seaman can only lower her head and beg for mercy. This entire scene is witnessed by the bully standing outside the office door. Soo-gang then leans toward Jin Hyung beside him and issues a warning. "If you ever dare to find someone to stand up for you again, I'll torture you for the rest of your life. You won't escape." After saying that, he viciously bites Jin Hyung's ear. Seaman's pleas are useless. Just as she believes her career is over, the head teacher suddenly announces that the other side has decided not to pursue the matter any further. It turns out the bully had already approached the head teacher, demanding that Seaman not be fired. Only then could he torment her in his own way and satisfy his twisted desires. That night, he corners Seaman at a convenience store, shamelessly provoking her non-stop. He wraps his arms around her, strokes her hair, while his followers continuously snap photos of her sitting on his lap. Before leaving, he coldly warns her not to get comfortable. "I won't give you a second chance." For the sake of keeping her job, Seaman swallows her rage and endures it in silence. But the moment she steps out of the store, she runs into someone even more deserving of a beating. He clearly bumps into her first. Instead of apologizing, he turns around and slaps her hard. "You idiot! Watch where you're going. Apologize properly." Memories of the bully flood Simon's mind. She can't understand how evil is so easily protected by money. And if justice only belongs to the rich, then what are you thinking, you little brat? If you'd met my dad 2 years ago, you wouldn't even have teeth left to drink tea. As he speaks, he keeps striking her head. At that instant, Simon's fighting instinct completely explodes. If this world has lost justice, then she'll answer fire with fire and make them pay dearly. In one swift motion, Simon lifts her leg high and delivers a brutal kick straight to the man's face, knocking him unconscious. That's when her revenge plan truly begins. She goes home, finds a cat mask, and follows the bully's movements until she finally tracks them to a basketball court. At the time, Sue Gang is already arguing with a group of street-hardened youths after a court-related dispute. The confrontation quickly turns into a brawl, creating the perfect opportunity for Seaman to strike. Taking advantage of the chaos, she slips on the mask, locks onto the bully's figure, and without a word, charges forward, delivering a powerful kick that sends him flying. Simon feels an overwhelming sense of release, while the bully is left stunned. He demands to know who attacked him, but the only response is a sharp meow, followed by a crushing punch, then another. Sue Gang is beaten so badly, he loses all sense of direction, barely registering the opponent taunting him. Enraged, he lunges forward, but how could he possibly match a boxing champion? With just a few clean moves, he's slammed to the ground. No bully has ever endured such humiliation, especially in front of his own followers. Completely furious, Sue Gang swears to rip off the attacker's mask and see who's underneath. But Seaman gives him no chance. She grabs the leg he just kicked out and spins violently, preparing to snap it. The pain is so intense that he struggles desperately to escape. He clenches his fists with murderous intent, but his strength is meaningless against Simon, like an egg smashing against a rock. Both exchange blows. She remains unscathed while his mouth fills with fresh blood. Just then, police sirens wail in the distance. Afraid of exposing her identity, Seaman doesn't linger. The bully, terrified of being caught, grits his teeth and flees. After the exhilarating fight, Simon collapses onto the ground, laughing uncontrollably. She has no idea that a student is secretly watching from afar. One of her own students and another former victim of the bully. Now, the look in his eyes is filled with admiration. The next day, news of the bully being beaten senseless spreads across the entire school. No one knows who the hero was, but the students are thrilled. Teachers whisper about it too, some even secretly mocking the bully and scribbling graffiti on his desk. This drives Sue Gang insane. Just as he's raging at the class, the homeroom teacher walks in. Seeing the desk, she barely suppresses a laugh and casually says that changing desks is fine. There's no need to get angry over something so trivial. She then tells the bully to follow classroom rules. Already furious, he becomes even angrier. It's the first time any teacher has ever ordered him to do anything. He understands now. Because he was defeated, everyone dares to mock him. Without another word, he storms out of the classroom with a few followers. Later, Sue Gang drives like a madman through the streets. His companions, fearing a deadly accident, quickly propose a sinister idea. If you're pissed, call Jin Hyung out and vent your anger. Dragging him out will definitely be way more fun than this. As the scene cuts, Jin Hyung is shown completely naked, his head wrapped in a plastic bag, his body covered in filthy scribbles. The bully orders him to reach a fried chicken shop 1 kilometer away within 5 minutes. The temperature is nearly below freezing, but even so, Jin Hyung is forced to sprint naked through the streets, drenched in sweat. Without hesitation, he rushes inside and orders the food exactly as instructed. The shop owner can't help but feel pity when he sees Jin Hyung's condition. The part-time worker at the fried chicken shop, the first student who discovered Seaman's true identity, immediately jumps on his motorcycle and races off to find her, telling her that Jin Hyung is being bullied again. Before leaving, he hands her his jacket. "If you don't wear this, someone might recognize you. I saw everything that day. You were the one wearing the mask and punishing Sugang. I was the one who spread the news about you. I'm begging you, Si-min, please stand up and protect us from that gangster, Sugang. At the same time, the bully is preparing to upload the video of Jin Hyung's abuse online, hoping to attract more twisted viewers and connect with people who share his sick interests. One of his followers smiles on the surface, but deep down he realizes Sugang is no different from a psychopath. The only reason these followers stay by his side is fear. His actions have long crossed a line, and resentment toward him has been building. When Si-min arrives wearing the mask, a fierce fight breaks out. This time, because Sugang has been suppressing his anger, his attacks are faster and more aggressive. The two fight evenly, neither gaining the upper hand. Meanwhile, Jin Hyung returns with the fried chicken, frozen in place. More than 5 minutes have already passed. He knows that when he goes back, the punishment will only be worse. He's like a balloon stretched to its limit, ready to burst. His eyes fall on a knife on the kitchen counter. If he's going to be beaten anyway, he'd rather resist, even if it costs him everything. Holding the fried chicken in one hand and the knife in the other, he rushes back to the beer hall. By then, Sugang has already been beaten to the point of exhaustion by Si-min, giving Jin Hyung a brief opening. But just as the knife is about to strike, Si-min kicks the bully aside at the last second. She throws herself in front of the blade, not to save Sugang, but to protect Jin Hyung. If that knife had stabbed Sugang, Jin Hyung's life would have been completely destroyed. Even if she gets hurt and bleeds, she refuses to let Jin Hyung's future be ruined. The bully, however, doesn't understand this at all. He's confused about why the masked fighter beat him mercilessly and then saved him. That confusion only fuels his obsession with uncovering her identity. Convinced the masked person must be a male student, Sugang orders his followers to search the entire school. Any male student with bruises on their face or cuts on their hands becomes a suspect. The chaos grows so intense that students begin voicing their anger. One female student finally steps forward. "If you keep causing trouble, I'm calling the police. Why do you have to turn everything into a mess? Is this because you're humiliated?" Her words instantly enrage Sugang. He grabs her by the hair and drags her in front of everyone, intending to make an example of her. "You stupid buak! Are you testing my patience? If that ugly cat doesn't show up, I'll kill you." At the same time, in the teacher's office, the homeroom teacher gently informs Si-min that in just a few days, she will officially become a permanent teacher. It's shocking good news. But before she can feel happy, chaos erupts. A male student loses control of a self-balancing scooter in the hallway and crashes towards Si-min. She instinctively dodges with quick, agile movement. That single moment is witnessed by Sugang, who instantly connects the dots. The way she moved, the injured arm, everything matches the cat-masked fighter. Without hesitation, he follows her to the deserted library. Si-min has just finished calling her father to share the good news when she suddenly slammed onto a table. Sugang pulls out a black plastic bag and covers her head, cutting off her air. Still wanting to toy with her, he forces her into a boxing match. "If you don't step into the ring, I'll release the video of Jin Hyung stabbing me." What do you think will happen then? Faced with this threat, Si-min refuses. If she fights, her identity will be exposed, and her chance at becoming a permanent teacher will vanish. No school would ever accept a teacher who beats students. The next day, she goes to class but doesn't see Jin Hyung. Worried, she goes to his home and finds him standing on the rooftop. Jin Hyung is consumed by guilt for hurting the cat fighter and suffocating under the bully's endless torment. He just wants everything to end. Si-min rushes to stop him. "Don't do anything stupid. If something happens to you, how will your grandmother survive? You've done so well. Let's defeat the bad people together." She tells him about a festival, the day of the match the bully arranged. Students who admire the cat fighter will all wear cat masks, hoping to see justice with their own eyes. That day, the school is filled with masked students. Jin Hyung arrives too. Si-min hugs him, and in that moment, he finally realizes the truth. The cat fighter is teacher Si-min, the one who's always helped him. In the ring, Sugang waits. He's trained relentlessly for this fight, even hiring a boxing coach. From the start, he has the advantage. Si-min's injured arm holds her back, and she's repeatedly pushed into defense. Her mask is knocked off, revealing her long hair. The crowd gasps. The catfighter is a woman. Some doubt her strength, others cheer even louder. Sugang presses the attack, but he forgets one thing. Even a cornered dog will bite, and Si-min is no ordinary fighter. She catches his leg, slams him to the ground, follows with a flying kick, and spins, striking him again. The bully staggers, but stands back up, igniting Si-min's full fighting spirit. She removes the mask completely, stunning everyone. She wants everyone to understand. It's the silence behind the mask that allows monsters like Sugang to exist. The crowd erupts. Even the bully's followers turn against him, chanting Si-min's name. The fight becomes completely one-sided. She corners him, strikes relentlessly, and drops him again and again. The principal rushes in and stops the match, but the humiliated bully shoves him aside and attacks once more. It's useless. He's nothing more than a punching bag now. One final spinning kick sends him flying out of the ring. He collapses in front of Jin Hyung. Si-min grabs his hair and forces him to apologize. Jin Hyung doesn't need it. Losing in front of everyone is punishment enough. When the bully lunges again, Si-min knocks him out cold. In the end, she takes Jin Hyung to the police station. A former follower submits video evidence of Sugang's crimes. The case explodes nationwide. No matter how powerful his family is, Sugang is sent to a reform school. Si-min leaves the school and transfers elsewhere, continuing as a student teacher. She knows now, the fight against school violence is long, difficult, and far from over. And that's where today's story ends. Share your thoughts about the movie in the comments below.